All right, Jeff, man, I want to make a quick video today talking about things that new detailers don't need to pay for, yeah?
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's jump into the video.
Let's do it. All right, Jeff, so my first question for you is, have you ever paid for any apps like, I don't know, for example, Jobber, or Detailer Made, or Field?
I have not. I've been approached by multiple apps from those different companies to like rep their brand. You know, they reached out to us to do like basically like videos talking about the benefits of using them and all that in exchange for letting us use the service. But it was something that I declined. I just didn't really feel like it was something that I needed, especially earlier on. You know, when you're just getting started, you got to be really mindful of your resources and budget your money accordingly to put it into things that are gonna like really help you like grow the business and acquire new customers. And I just didn't see that as like a benefit. And even now to this day, like we're almost 3 years in, I don't really see any need to pay hundreds of dollars a month for these type of services when it's something that you can pretty easily do on your own. You know, maybe once you have like multiple units and multiple employees, things like that might make sense. But if you're a new guy out there, you're just getting started in the business, in my opinion, I don't really think you need to spend your money on these type of things. You know, there's a lot of detailers on YouTube, and you have to understand that they're being paid to talk about using Jobber, right? Like, you have to really think about like, were they actually using this service prior to being sponsored by them? Probably not, right? So just keep that in mind. You know, some of the stuff that you see on YouTube, you know, Corum and I always like to keep it real with you guys. And, you know, I hate to see new detailers spending their money on things that, you know, they just really don't need and could be applied to other facets of their business that might help them progress at a lot faster pace, if that makes sense.
So Jeff, why do you think new detailers fall into that trap of thinking that they need that kind of thing?
I think when you're new, you know, you're kind of like searching for like, I don't want to say like the easy path or like a shortcut or something, but you're somewhat impressionable at that stage, and you know, you tend to maybe want to listen to people that have been doing it for a while, been in the business for a while. And when you see guys out there, I'm not going to like call out anybody or mention any names, but I think we know who they are out there that they rep these companies anyway. You know, they look at their level of success and they say, well, you know, if this guy's doing it, if this guy's using, I hate to keep calling out Jobber, but it's just they're all over the place, man. They're literally like flooded all over Instagram and YouTube. But they see these other detailers using those type of services and they think, well, I must need to do that as well, right? I must need to like spend my money on that in order to achieve that success. And it's not really how it is, you know? So just keep in mind that those people are being paid, they're being sponsored to talk about that stuff. So something to think about.
So Jeff, on the flip side of that, when do you think it's actually necessary to utilize a service like that?
I think when you, like I said, when you reach the level of you have multiple units, multiple employees, then you're trying to keep track of all this stuff. It might make sense at that point to make it a little bit easier for you to automate some of those things. But when you're a solo detailer, solopreneur, it shouldn't be that hard to really manage that stuff yourself, especially when you're just getting into the business and you're new. You're not so busy that you can't handle that type of thing. It should be something that you can just easily do on your own. Like I said, we're a couple years in. I'm still doing it like the old-fashioned way. I don't have a CRM. I don't use those type of paid services because I just haven't had any need for it up to this point. But maybe down the road, you know, when we're running both units with, you know, multiple people on the team, maybe it's something that we'll explore. I don't know, we'll kind of circle back to that when the time comes, I guess.
All right. Jeff, I see a lot of detailers making the same mistake that I did when I first started, was fixating on things that don't matter, things that are not going to bring you cash flow. So products,
Such
chemicals,
Yeah.
the latest and greatest thing, right?
Yeah, I think we when we're first starting off, a lot of us fall into that trap. I know I did as well. Like, I felt like I needed like I'd see these things on Instagram or YouTube and I'd be like, oh man, that's really cool. That, you know, that's gonna make me a better detailer, right? Like, I gotta have that product or those tools. And the reality is you can get by with really just some core essentials. You don't need, you know, every product on the market, 5 different types of, like, you know, soap or whatever it is, you know, the latest tools. While some of that stuff might help you, you don't need to invest your money into that stuff right off the bat. The more important thing, like we keep coming back to, is customer acquisition. You want to focus your money on getting new leads, getting new customers and clients into your business, because that's what's going to help you grow. That's what's going to keep you in business long term. Because the ones that win at the detailing game are the ones that are going to be able to stay in the game long term, right? And what that involves is budgeting your money wisely and using it for things that are going to help you level up in the business and continue to grow and be successful in the business.
Now, Jeff, man, with all that being said, do you still think it's important to invest your money in high quality tools and products, you know, out the gate?
If it's in your budget, yeah. I mean, I do think you should get what you can afford. For me, I was always kind of following that mentality of buy nice so you don't have to buy twice, right? Like, I always like to get kind of like the best stuff that I can fit into my budget in hopes that it's going to last a long time and continue to work for me and not cause me a lot of like maintenance issues, problems like that. So when it does come to your actual tools and equipment, things like your generator, your pressure washer, right? If you have the budget for it, you want to get good quality equipment that's going to last you a while. You don't want to get crap that is going to be breaking, you know, a month into your business, that's not really designed for professional use. Maybe it's designed as like a do-it-yourselfer, use it a few times here and there to clean your own vehicles, but it's not going to hold up over time doing the amount of volume that you do as a professional detailer, right? With products too, it's good to have high quality products. You know, I do recommend getting good products, but you don't need 3 or 4 of the same product that essentially does the same thing, right? So you just want to kind of be aware of what products serve which purpose, and then just have like one for each one when you're getting started. You don't need 3 or 4 of each specific thing that does the same exact thing. You don't need 3 or 4 interior cleaners, right? Just one, that's all you really need. So I just kind of go with that mentality when I'm stocking up my tools, products, and equipment for the business.
So Jeff, man, what's your thoughts on new detailers coming into the game with the ultimate goal of like needing a shop as like the level up from mobile?
Yeah, I think a lot of them have this thought process of like, you start off mobile and then the next level after that is you move into a shop, right? But I think, for me anyway, from my perspective, like, I don't really have any desire to go into a shop. And the reason being on that is I don't see any point in like renting, leasing a shop that you're never going to own, right? For me personally, I choose to rather make payments on something like a trailer, or what we just bought a van as well, because at some point you're going to pay those things off. And these are essential, like, mobile shops, right? We bring the shop to you, but these are going to be assets that are paid off that will continue to generate you revenue in your business over and over again. And, you know, once they're paid off, you don't have that monthly payment just going towards rent or a lease. You know, it never really made sense to me. And we talked about this in another video where I really believe like the future of detailing is going into the mobile side. There's less and less people that are wanting to make those trips over to shops to have detailing done. You know, there are exceptions to this too. So if you're doing like tinting or PPF, yes, I do feel like that should be done in a shop. It should be done in a controlled environment. Can you do it mobily? Yes. To the highest level, I don't really know. You know, there's a lot of factors involved with the weather, you know, wind, dust, things like that. So then it might make sense to actually have a shop if you're providing those type of services. But circling back to what you were asking me, I don't see that as like the next level. You go from like mobile to a shop. That's not like a level up to me. To me, it's more like leveling up is more just expanding the mobile side of the business into larger market share, if you will, in this market, or expanding into new markets, you know. That's just my thoughts and opinions on it. Let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comments below.
But Jeff, man, sometimes when we're doing ceramic coatings outside, I really wish we had a controlled environment.
Yeah, like I said, there are going to be exceptions to it, you know. Obviously, here in Vegas in the summer, you need access to a garage to be doing paint corrections and ceramic coatings. You can't be out there when it's 110 degrees polishing, putting on ceramic coatings. Most of the time we do have access to the client's garage, or we have a 3-car garage at our place as well, where if they need to, they can drop it off, we can do it there. You know, so like I said, there are exceptions where, yes, it's nice to be in a shop, it's nice to be in that controlled temperature environment, but do you have to be? I don't know. I don't feel that you do.
Yeah, I think we get by pretty good.
Yeah,
for sure. Jeff, I've been with Topstar for going on a year now. We just hired Anthony, so you got 2 guys now. Do you feel like it's more stressful now that you have 2 employees versus when you started and you were a solo operator?
I think it's a different type of stress, right? Well, there was stress in both situations. Earlier on when I was getting started, the stress was more learning everything, learning the process, learning everything about detailing, learning everything about how to run a business, how to be a successful entrepreneur. I don't know why I can't ever say that word. But you know, just all the things that come along with being a new business owner. But I only had to worry about providing for myself at that time, right? And I knew that I was going to make enough money to pay my bills and be okay with myself. Now that we're expanding, we got a second unit, we got 2 team members now, it's a different type of stress because I don't just worry about myself now. I've got to worry about 2 other team members, making sure that we have enough work to keep them working full time. You know, so that weighs heavy on me sometimes, right? Like most of the time we're busy enough to where we can keep 1 unit booked out comfortably. But you know, we're going into that second unit phase of the unknown, right? And I feel like we'll have enough work to keep that second unit booked out as well. Worst case, I could probably run some ads or something like that to boost up the business. We're hoping to do it organically. But you know, there is a level of stress that comes with that when you know, somebody else's what's the word I'm looking for?
Livelihood?
Yes. Somebody else's livelihood is resting on your shoulders, right? And it's up to you to make sure that you're doing what you need to do as a business owner to make sure that they have the hours that they need to you know, give them enough work to pay their bills too. So it's important to me, you know, as a business owner, I care about my team members. I care about Quorum and Anthony. They're like brothers to me, you know, and I want to see them succeed, and I want to see them make a lot of money and be successful and be happy as well too. So I think, you know, the stress, it doesn't really go away. It just kind of shifts into something new as you grow and expand.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey man, we just had a full day of detailing and then you come home and wash your own car and your trailer, man. Aren't you sick of it by this point?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely tired and wore out. You know, the last thing I want to do after working all day in the hot sun is come home, detail my own car in the trailer. But, you know, part of having a luxury brand and, you know, representing yourself as a professional detailer out there to your customers is, for me personally anyway, I want to show up in a nice clean vehicle with a nice clean organized trailer. There's nothing that really irritates me more than when the car's looking dirty. We've been so busy we haven't had a chance to actually keep up with it. I hate rocking up to a detail when my wheels are all dirty, caked up with brake dust, and you know, there's dust on the car and stuff. So I just feel like it's important to represent yourself like that, because you know, people judge you in those first few seconds that you pull up, whether you realize it or not. Like, they're analyzing you and they're judging you, whether you're in uniform, you have your shirt, your hat, what your vehicle looks like, how you're organized, you know. So these things are important as a business owner, so you want to keep that in mind. So if you guys are getting value out of this content, we do our best to try to bring you the real world situations from the detailing industry and keep it real with you guys. If you're getting value from this, doesn't cost you anything, do us a favor, drop us a like, drop us a sub, and we'll see you in the next one.